The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker and I'm joined once again by my friend Badger. Hello, Badger.
Hello, how's it going, everyone? Welcome in.
Yes, it's not bad. Yeah, things is doing pretty good. We're coming towards the end of the year, and you know, all things being equal, it's not been too bad.
I don't know, 2025 has been a bit of an explosive mental one for me, but yeah, that's it for another video and another time. But yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed these collabs, yeah, but my 2025 has been a cluster cluck. So
yeah, I must admit, it's going to be good to get out the other side of it. But you know,
100%.
I think that's why I'm feeling quite good, because it's coming towards the end of it. So it's not so, you know.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Okay. This week we're looking at horror films. We are doing horror, and we have two short films and a fantastic, well, I thought fantastic feature film. So we'll start off with the first of the short horror films, which is from this year, from 2025, and it's a film called Hall of Reckoning. This is the director of this is Brandon Smith, and the cast is David Coleman II and Ava Brock. And this was made as part of the 48-hour film challenge. It doesn't have a synopsis or anything really as such. So what do you think?
It's an interesting one for me. I didn't know it was part of a film challenge, but that does make sense to me in certain bits now, because it did feel very rushed. It felt like it wanted to be something and you got the gist of it, but it wasn't quite there. Like I said, it does make a lot of sense to me now that it was a 48 film challenge. The storyline was very intriguing, I must admit, and I think the sort of low quality filming that they used did actually add to it. But it is one of these ones that's quite a spooky one.
Yeah, I mean, I think it had quite a good look to it, as you say.
Yeah.
The low quality film worked really well, and I like, as you say, I like the idea behind the story. I think that was great. I mean, the acting was pretty good, and I get what you're saying about it feeling a bit rushed in places and that sort of thing. But
it reminded me of something, you know, like when you wake up of a days and back in the 90s and the TV's gone on a weird channel and all of a sudden like this weird horror film comes on and you have no idea where it is or what it's called. It just reminded me of those sort of days.
Yeah, no,
old school VHS weird horror film.
Yeah,
it gave out those vibes.
For me, the real downside for this is the fact that the music, the sound of it, the music in some places is too loud, and it overpowers the voice, the speaking, which may be a bit quiet as well. So you lose some of what's being said, and if you try and turn it up to hear what they're saying, the music's so loud it drowns everything out.
And we know, being filmmakers ourselves, we know that the music should always be present but not overpowering, and that is, like I said, that's the problem for this one. Is that the music was a bit too loud, and for me, with horror films, less is more with music. You know, you want the tension, you want the crackling of the fire, you want the sort of noises of the environment to overpower rather than a track.
absolutely. No, I agree. I agree. Having said all that, I've got to say that for me, anyone that can take an idea from initial concept to finished film in 48 hours deserves admiration because
Oh,
it's, I
100%,
mean,
100%.
I can't imagine how intense that must be.
I don't know, I just press the button and get on with it. But yes, joking aside, yeah, it's not an easy thing to do.
No,
Um, Being able to get a cast involved, special effects, music, practical effects, all within 48 hours, and of course, deciding on the aesthetic of the film, the camera, what to use, costumes, and stuff. 48 hours is not a long time in the film industry.
no. I'd like to see what they could do because it's got a very strong idea for the story. And I'd like to see what they could do with more time and the same sort of strength of idea.
Mm.
It'd
I mean,
be interesting.
it's one of these ones where, if they actually manage to make a full hour-long film out of that, or even half an hour, I'd like to see the story develop even more.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But I mean, for a 48-hour film challenge, I thought it was really good.
100%, very good stuff. And like I said, it did remind me of like a grainy VHS type film. I don't know if that's what they were going for, but if they was, they nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it did remind me a bit of that sort of thing as well. That's very good. Okay, the second of our short films is one that you actually introduced me to. I had to include it because I was blown away. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
you
I
did,
I unfortunately watched this at 12:30 at night, so bear with me on this one.
uh,
Uh,
again, this is from this year, 2025, and this is a film called Uncanny. Writers are Liam Banks and Charlie. Uh, I can't read my own writing. Charlie Brentnell. The director is Liam Banks, and the cast is James Podmore, Rachel Colton, Rosie Frost, and Richard Parker. The synopsis says, in his quest for love, introvert Jordan is captivated by the realm of online dating and soon finds himself entangled in a web of terrors when he connects with Amanda. I have to say, first of all, thank you so much for sending this to me because I was absolutely blown away by it.
I'm pleased you liked it. Yeah,
I mean, it looks great. The story, I mean, it's not a completely and totally original idea,
no,
but it's incredibly good and so well done.
so well done. I mean, obviously I've been with my partner for like 3 or 4 years now, but before that I did have a short foray in online dating. So I can sort of like, for me, I was like, that could happen to anyone in a certain degree. And you hear all these horror stories online about weird things that happen on online dating, and this is just the extreme of it. Um,
Absolutely.
it's like The Ring, The Babadook, all these different things all squished into a real like thing that could happen to someone. It's like taking something in the real world and then putting it into that fantasy land, and it makes it relatable, which kept me up all night. Actually, I really
Well,
was
I mean,
scared.
it's
I
got
was scared witless after
it's got
watching
some
this.
excellent effects in it, and the thing for me was the fact that it just kind of I don't know, it didn't rely, although there are a couple of things that in it, it didn't rely on jump scares. It relied on atmosphere and the strangeness of it all to make it just make you feel unsettled.
Yeah, I was very unsettled. I tell you that. The lighting was
Oh,
fantastic, and the situations that he obviously put himself in was spooky as it was. And obviously, without trying to spoil it too much, even after the first scene, there was a bit where you wasn't sure was there something behind him, even from the get go,
yeah,
even before they started the main part of the story. There
yeah,
was that seed of, is there something in the house with him, even before any of the real story developed.
Yeah, oh no, definitely. And the build up of for such a short film to build the characters up the way they did.
Mm,
Even the incidental characters, like the first people he talks to, that sort of thing, was so well done.
yeah.
I was absolutely amazed. I thought it was
I
brilliant.
think that was part of it. Was the acting was so good, it felt like you were watching someone experiencing something, and that's what I mean. Where the acting was so great, you felt that she was someone you would meet on an online dating thing, the first woman, and then it was like
Yeah,
the storylines and the fact that it was in a tight little close in the UK. You saw the street lamp, you saw the sort of small houses there. It was very good, small set, very relatable, scary.
absolutely. I mean, I think it's a great film, and I would recommend it to everyone to watch this film.
Yeah.
It's really worth it. I,
It's the sort of thing that if they made a full length version of it, I would be going to see it straight away.
absolutely. I mean, oh, as I say, I think it's one of the best short films I've seen this year. Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely think it's one of the best we've watched so far.
Yeah,
That feels like a complete story as well. Usually, I have that thing where it doesn't feel like a complete story, but for me, we did get a nice beginning, a middle, and an end to this one.
yeah, absolutely. It works so well, and as you say, the acting I thought was really good. I want to know what else they've done and what else they're going to do because I definitely want to watch it.
No, yeah. But I'm going to watch it during the daytime
Yeah,
this time.
no more
and that,
sleepless, no
I
more
know,
sleepless
and
nights.
that's coming from a horror nerd as well. So it gave me the jeebies. It
Yeah.
really.
Oh, I thought it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay. Right. The feature film we are doing this week, and I've been wanting to watch this, but I've been holding off on it to be able to do this. Is the new version, 2025 version of Frankenstein.
Mm.
Uh, Writers, obviously Mary Shelley and Guillermo del Toro. Director I can't say it, Guillermo del Toro. The cast is Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Christoph Waltz, Mia Goth, Felix. Can't believe my writing's terrible. Felix Camera, Charles Dance, David Bradley, Lars Mikkelsen, and Christian Covery. There are other people, but that's the main cast. If you want to see the full cast, you can go onto IMDb and it'll be on there. The synopsis for this says Dr. Victor Frankenstein, a brilliant but egotistical scientist, brings a creature to life in a monstrous experiment that ultimately leads to the undoing of both the creator and his tragic creation. I have been looking forward to this, but
Me too. Me too. I was very excited for it. Very excited for it.
I've been looking forward to it, but with some trepidation. The thing is, when I was about about nine,
Mm.
something like that, that the very first films I saw that got me into horror was a double bill of the Universal 1930s Frankenstein and Dracula.
Yes.
And
Ah.
from the moment I saw those, I thought this is brilliant.
Yeah.
So I was a bit unsure how, because I've seen other versions of Frankenstein. Some of
Mm.
them have been good,
Yes.
some of them have not been so great,
No. Yeah.
but
This
they've
is
all
it.
been very different.
Yeah.
And I
Um.
wasn't sure about this.
Obviously, for me, I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and I really enjoyed it from a young age. I was a big reader,
Mm,
and I admired her because of what she did. They basically, she was in a sort of like she perchance was in a club. There was all the gentlemen there, and they were like, "Oh, women can't write horror novels," and
Yeah.
then she wrote Frankenstein to prove them wrong. And for me, that was a fantastic piece of horror knowledge. And going forward from that, watching, like you say, the Universal films, reading the different versions of the book, like seeing all the different imagery and stuff like that, really makes you want to go, oh, yeah, this is new, this is exciting, 2025. What twists and how are they going to romanticize it now? It's going to be interesting.
But having watched this now, I can honestly say I love it. I
Mm,
think it's brilliant.
yes.
I would say this is this ranks alongside of Guillermo del Toro's films. This ranks alongside Pan's Labyrinth as being one of my favourites.
Yeah. I mean, just watching it feels, you know, I don't know about you, but I love that sort of Victorian Gothic cinema.
Yeah,
The lovely dress, the camera work, the almost sort of like the real architecture. It really feels like you're being transported to a different time and a different
absolutely.
place, and just the colours are gorgeous.
Yeah,
And that's not even going on to like the acting or anything. Just the actual watching of the film feels like your
it,
brain's feeding, and eating and loving it.
I mean, I suppose. I mean, on the whole, his films are always look great. But this really does, and I found that I was really drawn into the story of the film. Now, there are some things in the story that he's changed or he's added to the original story, but then everyone does that. But it's not done in a way. Even though there are things that are different about this to the original story, I actually feel that this is one of the closest films I've seen to the original book.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they gave you in previous cinema, you always see Adam or Frankenstein, whatever you want to call it, monster, sort of like throwing the girl in the lake by mistake and all that sort of stuff. But in this one, you get to see how they could be kind and how they could do the things. And they really embellish that idea of what he or they are as a kind person, even though it's specifically said as a monster. It's almost like this is the first time you ever get character growth of
Mm.
the monster. I've never
Well,
seen that before.
well, I mean, the Kenneth Branagh one does that to an extent, but I don't think it does it as well as this does. I thought the acting from everybody, there isn't a single person in this cast that I can say was a bit naff or that their part in the story wasn't important or didn't work. Everybody in the film was there for a reason, and what they did worked brilliantly.
Mm.
I was amazed by that, to be honest, because you normally find there's one or two people you go, oh, they were okay, but they weren't brilliant. But I think the whole thing just works so well.
Yeah, I was really mesmerized by the acting, and like you said, the set pieces were fantastic, and I really enjoyed the almost like the script, the words that were coming out. It was one of these films where it's like you never knew what was going to happen next, and I even though I've seen hundreds of different versions of Frankenstein, I was like, this is like a fresh concept to me. It really
Absolutely.
was interesting.
And I think the other thing for me was the fact that it kind of so often they concentrate so much on him putting the creature together. And with this, although they did that, it wasn't it wasn't as important as
Mm.
was the relationship between. him and his family, and then him and the creature, and then the creature in the world, if you
Yeah.
like.
And obviously they were juggling the will they won't they love interest part in it as well. Um, and you got to see him instead of really, like you said, instead of creating the monster, you got to see him create the machine and the scientific brain behind that. And
Yeah,
they don't always go into that, how intelligent Victor is. They don't. They just go like, "Oh, he's a madman and he's created a machine." You know. With this, you got to see him doing all the different theses, talking to all the doctors, showing examples of
yeah.
like the body being animated and stuff. And I'm sure I've never seen anything so developed as that.
No, no. And I think, I mean, the other thing is that it was like I was amazed at how how to explain it. It just kind of I sat here and watched it from beginning to end without once thinking that at any point there was a dull moment or a kind of there wasn't something that drew the story along and that was important to be there. There was none of it that made me think, oh, this is a little, yeah, they could have cut this bit out or they could have cut that down. It just seemed absolutely perfect, absolutely right.
And I like the fact that you did see the monster side of the story as well as Victor's,
Yeah,
and it all came together at the end. You know, that was a rare thing that they've never done before for me. They
I,
might have in certain ones I've never seen, but like I said, it almost humanizes the monster, and you get to see what good they could do in the world. And it was a good example of a world building. You know,
absolutely. Yeah,
it's something that Universal should have done. You know, obviously, I think, I don't know what your memory's like, but Universal wanted to do their own version of the Marvel universe. So you had like Victor Frankenstein, you'd have Wolfman, you'd have all these different characters, and it was going to be like a Marvel entwined universe.
yeah,
For me, Dracula and several other romantic characters could all be running around in that film at that very moment. It felt like a very gothic art piece.
absolutely. And as you say, I mean, the colours, the architecture, the look of the place, the artwork, it was all brilliantly done and works so well. And I love it. I will say there was only one thing about the entire film that for a moment distracted me from what was going on in the film.
Oh, okay.
And it was just a moment where I kind of had to chuckle a little bit, which was the fact that when the creature first comes out and something like he's wearing kind of yellow bandages and yellow shorts, and he looked like Rocky from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, I did get that sort of vibe. Yeah,
So for a moment, I just kind of chuckled a bit, but
yeah,
then it was gone, you know.
yeah. I must admit that was an interesting one. I did like the effects of the fact that he was then immortal. I don't remember Frank. Obviously, I
Yeah,
know that.
no,
I'm sure Frankenstein could be killed before. That was something. That was a new
that
twist.
was a new twist, and it was very interesting that they added that. Um, but it did, it kind of made for an interesting change to the film, an interesting thing about the film.
Yeah, because it obviously went along the lines of he's now been created, and obviously the sort of metaphor for the whole film. Every horror film's got a metaphor. This one is, if you don't like your life, you have to learn to live and enjoy what you can.
Yeah,
That is 100% what this film has tried to teach people.
but the other thing is the fact I think it brilliantly did the whole thing about, people always say, oh, Frankenstein's the name of the doctor, not the monster. You go, yeah, but hang on a minute. As the original story in this film, Frankenstein, the doctor, is the monster.
Mm. Yeah, 100%, because he was the man that created this being, and he was absolutely crazy, and he's obviously taken science way too far. So
Yeah.
yeah, you could definitely look at the fact that the creator is the monster in this
And
one.
it's I loved this film, and I would quite happily watch it again. As I say, I mean, I've always loved Pan's Labyrinth ever since the first time I saw it, and I happily watch that, anytime. And this is up there with it for me. It's as good as Pan's Labyrinth easily.
Mm.
And what I would say is, if anyone watches this who haven't already seen it, if you watch it, I did this because my brother said to me about it. After I watched the film, I then watched the documentary that's on Netflix
Ah.
about the making of the film, which is absolutely brilliant. It is really good, and it really goes into how they built that world and how they made it work. And it's incredibly interesting to watch. Really well put together uh, documentary about the making of the film, and really worth having a look at.
Mm.
So
Yeah, so I'll be doing that at some point tomorrow, I think, because I didn't get a chance to catch the documentary. I'll be watching that.
yeah, there's two on there. There's one which is just about Guillermo del Toro's films in general, but there's one which is just about the making of Frankenstein.
Mm.
So yeah, it's really worth having a look at if you haven't seen it already. Um, but yeah, I'm so glad I watched this. I'm I've seen a lot of things online. People seem to be a bit, split with it. Lots of people saying it's absolutely brilliant. Lots of people saying they didn't like it. And
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, hey, you're never going to please everybody.
No, I mean, they have taken something that is an old fashioned horror, romanticized it. For me, if you were to say, obviously, what is it similar to? It very much reminded me of Bram Stoker's Dracula. The fact
Yeah,
that they added the forbidden love element. It did feel like it was it had those sort of vibes in it.
well,
Where the lady almost was like, I've never experienced this, I wasn't meant for this world, but you have shown me all these different things, and that was her talking to the monster. So for me it definitely embodied a, the spirit of Bram Stoker's Dracula also.
yeah, I know what you mean. I
So
don't,
if you're a fan of gothic romanticism, you'll love it.
well,
That's what I'll say to
the
people.
thing about this, I think, for me, it had enough of the original story and the feel of the original story in the original book. Uh, it also had, as you say, the romance element and the gothic romance side of things, that sort of thing. It also had just enough of a splattering of kind of action and stuff in it, and also just enough of a splattering of gore as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of got a universal appeal to kind of anybody who likes any kind of horror will
Mm.
find something in this that they will like.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree with you there because the monster was, strong, but not, sort of jarring. It wasn't like it felt like, you was 100 stone walking across the thing and all made of metal and stuff. It
Yeah,
was an actual, an animated character that felt like he had all these different things in him, like the strength. And I think part of that was his mental health as well. They
yeah,
do actually go into the mental health of the monster in this one, where he was like, I've dreamed several different dreams of several different men and all that sort of stuff. So it gives you that alignment of how he would feel as a creature. And the fact that near the end he goes, I want a bride and stuff like that. It's a bit of a nod to the old cheesy stuff, but it works in with this, that he wants a companion. He would like a family and things like that. I think that was so interesting that the monster went from being something that was, created in a lab to then developing an even more human sensibility than the creator.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yes.
And I liked the backstory they gave to Victor. The story about his childhood and what his father was like and how he related to him. That I think worked really well and gave you a good thing. And also, I liked the fact that they kind of, although it wasn't done in a very big and in-depth way, it was done just enough. They developed the characters of the captain and the crew
Mm.
on the ship when they're stuck in the ice and they first find uh, Victor Frankenstein out on the ice. Those characters are developed enough to make them work within the story without them just being, oh, it's some sailors.
Yeah, that's another thing, isn't it? You do actually feel like they have a place in the film, like you were saying earlier in the podcast. It does feel like everyone has a place, even the extras. You feel that they're there for a purpose.
Yeah,
Obviously some were littered on the floor with broken bones, but others were there, and you felt like I said, the world building of them on the ship, and you felt really sensitive to not only obviously Victor's issues, the monsters' issues, but the fact that the ship was stuck in ice, and
yeah,
you did have that. Even though you feel sorry and concerned for the monster in a way, you then care about these people that are stranded in the ice on the ship as well. And it's like, oh, what's going to happen?
absolutely. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So glad that I watched it. I'm so glad he made it, to be honest.
Mm.
It's yes, it's been a highlight for me for this year, to be honest. Watching that, it was very good. Okay, well there you go. That's our three films. We had Horn of Reckoning, which isn't a bad film, especially given the fact that it was 48-hour film challenge. Uh,
Yes.
be interested to see what else they do as well. Uncanny, which was great and
Fantastic, fantastic.
amazing, and again, I want to see what else they can do because I thought that was so well done and so well put together. And Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which we both thought was an excellent film, and I would recommend to anybody to watch. Uh,
Chef's
and
kiss, 100%.
and
100.
and the making of as well, which is definitely worth a watch as well.
Mm.
Okay, thank you, Badger.
No worries. Thank you again.
Okay, no problem. You will be joining me again for the next couple, actually.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
you'll be seeing the year out with me. Uh,
Excellent. Excellent.
so
And
we've got some science fiction for the next one.
yes. Ooh, looking forward to that then.
Yeah, we'll be doing that. Okay. Thank you for being on the show and for helping me.
No worries. Thank you. It's been lots of fun.
It's been great. It's been great. So, everybody out there, check out the films. Check out Badger's YouTube channel and social media, and like and subscribe and pass
Hype.
the
Hype. That's the
yeah
new one.
hype. That's the word I'm looking for. Pass the link on to other people. Just say, "Ever watch this?" And I've said it before. Even if you don't want to watch all of them, put them on something like it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube. Put it on when you're doing something else and you're not interested. Turn the volume down if you don't want. Just give us the watch
That's it. Give us
figures.
the love. Give us the love. Yeah.
Anyway,
All
uh,
right. Thank you, everyone. And we'll
thank
see
you
you
very
next
much,
time.
and we will be back soon. Bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.